After recruiting Grant as a shooter, did there come a time when you received information that Fletcher was going to be released from prison? Yes, it was a Saturday. It was a weekend. And I received a phone call and Kevin Chung was on the line from jail. He said, "Slim, son is in Queensborough now." I said, "Oh, he left Mohawk?" He said, "He left Mohawk a little bit after you left. He's going home soon. He's in Queensborough now. He's getting out soon. He's getting out September 11th. He is going to be released from Queensborough." What is Queensborough? Queensborough is, for lack of a better word, it's a place where inmates who have open dates, who are soon to be released from prison, are warehoused in Long Island City. How far in advance of September 11th was this conversation you had with Kevin Chung? I had 2 conversations with Kevin Chung. One was letting me know that Fletcher was no longer in Mohawk, and the second conversation was the day before, or 2 days before, I think it was, the day before September 11th, saying he was going to be released. After having that conversation with Kevin Chung and learning that Fletcher is about to get out from Queensborough, what did you do with that information? I sent a text. I texted Jimmy. I said, "Our friend is in Queensborough. He's getting released." I think either I said tomorrow or the 11th. And approximately what date did you send that text? September 10, I think. What year? 2009. What phone did you use? The phone I got from Metro PCS. The Thibodeau phone? Yes. And what was Roseman's response? He said, "Okay, get with Jason and get with Dee and let them know." Remind me, who is Jason? Jason Williams. And remind the jury, who is Dee? Derek Grant. What was your reaction to hearing mention of Jason's name? I said, "Okay," and I contacted Jason and let him know what Jimmy had said to me about us meeting up the next day to go out to Queensborough. How did you communicate with Jason? I used the Thibodeau phone. Did you make arrangements with Jason? I did. Did you make any arrangements with Grant? I contacted Grant and he said, "Okay, I'll meet. You get with Jason and let me know in the morning and we'll meet up." So what was the plan for the next morning? The plan the next morning was for us to go over to Queensborough to see if anything could take place that day or, also, in my opinion, to ID Lodi Mack. What was the point of identifying him? So that all parties would know how he looked and see him? Why would that matter? You have to know who you are going to shoot if you're going to shoot somebody. How were you going to get to Queensborough? Jason and I drove out there. So let's talk about, what day did you go there? September 11th. Let's talk about what happened that day. Walk us through what happened. I called Jason the day before. He said, "Okay, I'll hit you in the morning." The next morning, he texted me and told me he was en route. I think we may have spoken because he wanted to get the exact cross streets. I told him I was on New Lots between Warwick and Jerome. And when he pulled up, I came out. We got in the car. We drove over to Queensborough and we found a parking spot. And I immediately looked around and said, this is in fact the jail. So I'm kind of looking for cameras and canvassing the area. And when I walked inside, I immediately noticed a bank of cameras, almost like a control panel where the correction officer is. So I said, "We're going to scratch this. Don't be doing anything here." But I asked the lady, "Is Lowell Fletcher here?" And she said, "No, you just missed him, maybe 15, 20 minutes. Who is this guy? He's very popular today. Everybody is looking for him." And she went on to say a group of guys just came and picked him up a little while ago. I said, "Okay, thank you." I went back out to the car and told Jason we just missed him. Some people picked him up. What car did Jason drive? What car did you and Jason use to get over to Queensborough that day? A green Maxima. Whose car was that? I think Jason said it was his aunt's car. And where is Queensborough located? in Long Island City, Queens. You said that when you arrived, you looked and you saw a bank of cameras and decided to scratch this? Yes. What was the significance of the cameras? Well, the significance of the cameras was that if we did in fact run into Lodi Mack or Lowell Fletcher, if in fact we were thinking about doing anything, that would be a terrible idea because there was 4 or 5 views of the entire building, the entrance, the front, and it would not be a good idea. I'm going to show you on your screen what have been pre-marked for identification as Government Exhibits 685A and 685B. Do you recognize these photos? Yes. What do they show? They show the front entrance of the side, and a further view of Queensborough. The government offers Government Exhibits 685A and 685B. Received. Can we please publish Government Exhibit 685A? Go ahead. What do we see here? This is the front entrance. This is the door where I walked through to speak to the officer and saw the bank of cameras. You said the officer told you that Fletcher had just left? Yes. After hearing that, what did you do? I thanked her and went back outside and told Jason when I sat in the car. Did you and Jason have a discussion? Very briefly, like, wow, we just missed him. We're kind of like sitting there like, now what? So while we're sitting there, I am just saying to myself, I'm thinking, how far away is he? Would I recognize him in the car? And I said, wait a minute. He has the same lawyer as Kevin Chung, Bob Macedonio. Let me try that lawyer. Kevin had spoke to me about that lawyer, and the lawyer seemed a little unconventional to me. So I was thinking maybe there's a possibility that Lowell Fletcher or Yale is with Macedonio. So I called the information and asked for the law offices of Bob Macedonio. I got the number. When I called, the receptionist said, I can give you his cell number, but wait, I'll pass you through. And when she passed me through, Bob Macedonio answered the phone. What happened then? He gets on the phone and he says, B-O-B. Immediately I'm saying this is a different kind of lawyer. And I said, hey, Bob, what's up? He said, hey, who am I speaking to? I said, this is Slim. Is Lodi with you? He said, yeah, he's right here. And he passed him the phone. What happened at that point? At that point, Lodi Mack and I began to have a conversation. And I told him welcome home and basically told him, hey, what's up? You don't really know me, but Biggs told me you were getting out soon and he told me to look out for you. So I'm reaching out. Who is Biggs? Kevin Chung. Tell us about your conversation with Lodi Mack. Well, Lodi Mack, of course, is excited. He's happy that he's home. And I'm telling him, what's up? You don't really know me, but Biggs told me you were getting out soon. He told me to look out for you until he get out, to hold you down. He said, okay, my man Biggs, that's a good look. He said, you Ola? In other words, are you blood? I said, no, a lot of my friends are. A lot of my family are. He said, okay. And he asked me a couple of questions like where I was from and stuff like that. Then I said, you still in Far Rockaway? He said, no, I'm at my sister's house up in the Bronx. I said, okay. He said, I can't be out in Far Rockaway anymore now that I've been arrested. I said, all right. I said, what's your number? He said, I don't have a cell phone right now. If you need to get in contact with me, just call Bob back. He'll give me the messages. I said, well, take my number down. He said, yeah, I'm going to do that. So he got a pen and he took the number down. He said, I'll be getting a phone any day now, real soon. As soon as I get a phone, I'm going to call you. And we agreed. I said, well, I'm not rich or anything, but down the road, we'll get together. I'll look out for you. I don't have much, but I'll make sure you're okay. We'll get together. We'll see some girls or something. He said, okay, we'll do that. And that was that. Did you tell him your real name? No. Why not? Well, something is going to happen to him. He's going to be shot soon, and I don't want him knowing my real name. And I don't want him knowing who he's talking to in case he talks to someone else and they say, "You are talking to who?" And the whole cover is blown. Why did you tell him that Biggs had told you to look out for him? Well, the whole Biggs thing was Big is a blood. He's a blood, and it fostered a false sense of trust. It artificially aged the relationship. When I'm using Biggs, he knows Biggs. He just left Biggs. Now he will be much more open to talking to me. Also, what I am telling him when he asked me, was I blood? And I said no. And I'm telling him that a lot of my friends are. I'm giving him the impression that perhaps Big was protecting him on the inside and he could continue that same relationship. So I'm giving him a false sense of superiority. Why did you offer to be able to give him help when he got home? To ingratiate him to me, to give him a financial incentive and a reason to be around me. And just from observing him inside, I could see that he fancied himself as a tough guy. So I wanted to feed straight into that image he had of himself and make it a relationship he could already clearly see himself taking that role. Why did you want him to do that? So that he could kind of go anywhere I said to meet me at, and that he would trust me. He wouldn't double think and overthink anything I'm asking him to do. Why do you want him to trust you? I want him to trust me because I'm bringing him someplace for him to ultimately be shot. Before talking to Lodi Mack on that occasion, had you planned out what you were going to say to him? No. Which cell phone did you use to talk to him that day? The Thibodeau phone. Before going to Queensborough that day, did you have a conversation with Jason Williams or Derek Grant about bringing a gun to Queensborough? No, we didn't have the specific conversation about bringing a gun. On your trip to Queensborough, did you bring a gun? No. Do you know if Jason Williams brought a gun? I didn't know, but I was pretty sure he did. Did there come a time when you had another phone conversation with Lowell Fletcher? Yes, either a day or two later, he called me and said this was his cell phone number and that he was up in the Bronx and to kind of get acclimated to his PO. I said, okay, we're going to have to definitely get together real soon. I don't have much, but I'll probably be able to give you a little something. He said, okay, we'll do that. We'll get together. What cell phone number did he call you on? He called me on the Thibodeau phone. Did you have any specific plans with Lodi Mack, Lowell Fletcher to meet up at that time? No, not at that time. Did you give him... After that conversation with Lowell Fletcher, what did you do? After that conversation with Lowell Fletcher, I contacted Jason or Jimmy or both and let them know I made contact with Fletcher and that he and I had spoken and that I told him we would be meeting up in the near future. After your trip to Queensborough, did there come a time when you had another meeting with Rosamond? Yes. How long after the trip to Queensborough? Maybe a week later, maybe a little bit more. What month was it in? It was in the same month. It was in September. 2009? Yes. Where did that meeting take place? In the same general location, Columbus Circle in front of Whole Foods. How was that meeting arranged? I received a text message, meet me in front of, the same place as last time, the same general location address. And I probably texted back, yes, okay, I'm en route. I may have called to confirm that I was coming. Did you meet up with Rosamond that day? I did. Who was present? It was Jimmy, Jason, and myself. Jason is Jason Williams? Yes. Jimmy is Rosamond? Yes. Where did you speak with them? I spoke with him right in front of Whole Foods. The same Whole Foods that you had met with Rosamond at previously? Yes. Can we please publish Government Exhibit 656A? Does this photo show the general area where that Whole Foods is? Yes. Did you meet with Rosamond and Jason that day outside the building or inside the building? Outside. What happened during this meeting? Jimmy said, Slim, when you were talking to Dude, did you talk to him on that phone, on your phone? He pointed to the Thibodeau phone. I said, yeah. He said, no, go get another phone. He said, you got money on you? He said, hold on. Jason, you got money on you? Jason said, yeah. He said, how much money you got? Just give me that money. I'll give it back to you. So Jason reached in his pocket and gave me like $700, $600, $700 maybe. Jason said, Slim, take that money. Go right over to the Radio Shack over there. And he pointed like across by the train station. It's 58th Street. And he said, go on in there and get the phone and make sure you call Dude on this phone and only speak to him on this phone. Don't speak to anyone else on that phone. And I went over to the Radio Shack and I got an AT&T prepaid Go phone. And I used the name Stacy King. I thought Stacy would be ambivalent. Couldn't tell if it was a female or male, but he would probably think it was a female. King was one of the aliases I've used before. Before we get to the store and Radio Shack, during your meeting with Rosamond and Jason, did Rosamond say anything to you? Did he mention anything about Grant and Jason? Objection to leading, Your Honor. Rephrase the question. During your meeting with Rosamond and Jason outside of the Whole Foods, what, if anything else, did Rosamond say? He said, Slim, are you sure you guys can handle this? Are you sure you got it? I said, yeah. He said, because I'm telling you, I got somebody else that if you don't have it, if you can't handle it, I have somebody. I said, Jimmy, we got it. He said, okay. And I went and got the phone. Where did you go get the phone? At the Radio Shack on 58th. I think it's between 8th and 9th. Did you buy a phone there? I did. What kind? AT&T prepaid. I think it's called a Go phone. What is a prepaid phone? It is a phone where you don't have a contract or a bill. You give them a certain amount of money, and you purchase a certain amount of minutes, certain amount of airtime. What name did you provide as the user or subscriber of the phone? Stacy King. Where did you come up with that name? I've used the name King in the past as an alias. Joseph. I think Larry once. And Stacy was a name I used because I felt he would think it was a female, but it would be ambivalent. It would be kind of gender neutral. Why didn't you use your own name? I didn't want my name attached to a phone that's going to be used to speak to an individual who's getting shot.